host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion on the yearly predictions for the next year 2024 for all the rising signs. And before we will start our discussion, I wish all of you heartiest wishes and blessings of this upcoming new year. May all of your wishes come true. May you will find your purpose, and this year will bring you good wealth, health and happiness in all areas of your life. So guys, before we will jump into the customized results for this upcoming new year, customized to your Lagna, let's first try to understand how the vibe of this year collectively is going to be influencing all of us. So guys, if you remember, like at the time when I made a video for the year 2023, I mentioned this thing that from the numerology point of view, the universal year turned out to be of 7, which is a number of extremities because it is being ruled by the planet Ketu. And we all have seen that the war which took place, like Israel and this Hamas situation which we all are witnessing, so that generally tend to remain a theme in the universal year of 7. But guys, when we talk about the vibe of the 2024, the sum total of that will give you the universal year vibration of number 8, which is being governed by the planet Saturn. Second thing is that even in the transit next whole year, Saturn is going to be strengthened in the sign of Aquarius, its own Mool Trikona sign. And Saturn is going to be traveling in the majorly in the Sadbhisha Nakshatra and the Purvabhadrapada Nakshatra. Both of the nakshatra are somehow very much conducive and favorable for Saturn to manifest good results. And also guys, in one of the video, I also mentioned this thing that as per our lunar calendar calculations, this year is also the Samvatsar. It is carrying the energy of the Mars, as Mars is the ruler of this year. So definitely when we talk about the combined energy of the Mars and Saturn, so that definitely benefit all those people who are in the fields of engineering, construction, you are a builder or anything to do with the innovative work. So definitely this year will give you lot many opportunities. Apart from that, Jupiter is going to be transiting in the sign of Aries till the end of the April of 2024, and at the beginning of the May, it will transit to the sign of Taurus. So guys, one thing is for sure that because in the original Kalpurush Kundli, Aquarius is a sign of gains and Taurus is a sign of wealth. Now, as you can see that both of these two planets and these zodiac signs are going to be in a strengthened state because Saturn being in the Aquarius and Jupiter being in the Taurus. Second thing is that the transiting Ketu is now going to be getting aspected by the planet Jupiter. That in itself is a very good indication that in order for you to reap the reward of all those things which you have done, your soul has accumulated from the journey in the past so many lifetimes, this year can actually give you the results of that as well. And lastly guys, I always say this thing that whenever in the transit, if these two major planets, Jupiter and Saturn, are jointly influencing any sign, so the tendency to gain something very substantial connected with the attributes of that zodiac sign tend to remain very strong. So guys, during this year, once Jupiter will transit the sign of Taurus, Jupiter will aspect the sign of Scorpio, and Saturn is already giving its 10th aspect to the sign of Scorpio. So that in itself means that in whichsoever domain Scorpio energy is falling in your chart, you can actually achieve or accomplish something substantial pertaining to the domain of that zodiac sign and that house. So yes guys, after that now we will shift our discussion customized to that basis your ascendant, what this year is going to be bringing up for you. So friends, after getting an idea about how planets are going to be transiting next year, now we will shift our discussion customized to your rising sign. So guys, the technique which I will be following for predicting your yearly horoscope and analysis is that I will be covering all the houses and I will be explaining it to you that how particular to the attributes of that house, the transit of planets is going to be influencing you next year. So guys, starting first with your first house, which tells about your health, which tells about your public image, and which tells about with how much conviction you will progress next year. So the summary or synopsis which I have mentioned for you guys is that a year marked by substantial professional accomplishment and enhanced public image. You will make a difference in both yours and others' lives. Saturn's straight aspect will also keep your ego in check in the face of any big milestone. So as you know that Saturn, which is going to be transiting in your 7th house, is going to be giving straight aspect next whole year to your first house. And also guys, like even if you will take into consideration the kind of role which Jupiter is going to be playing for you, so now we know this thing that Jupiter is going to be transiting in your 10th house from May 2024 onwards. Rahu and Ketu are also in a strengthened state, so that is the only reason there is a lot of potential which you guys possess next year to attain or accomplish things. Now guys, definitely after getting an idea about a synopsis of the whole theme for you guys next year, now we will try to understand that the transit of your ascendant lord sun throughout the next year, and in which specific months it's going to be forming some kind of yoga through conjunction with other planets. So guys, starting first with the mid of April onwards, when your ascendant lord is going to get exalted in your 9th house. So April mid onwards, when sun is going to get exalted, and Mars, your Yokarka planet, is going to be conjunct with Saturn in your 7th house. So with this much of the accentuated 7th house and your ascendant lord being exalted in the 9th house, so I would say that during this year specifically, after the mid of April, lot many things can be achievable for you guys. Now this could be whether in the account of your health related concerns, your career related priorities, any of the immigration related concerns, like let's say for example you have any political aspiration and all of that. So I would say this thing that during this year, mid of April onwards, you will be in a position of power. Along with that guys, mid August onwards, like when your ascendant lord is going to be transiting in your first house. So see, understand the whole alignment. Your ascendant lord is going to be well placed in your first house, and along with that you will have your Yokarka planet being conjunct with Jupiter in your 10th house. So I would say this thing that the mid of the April, so like 1 month from mid of April till mid of May, and also from mid of August till mid of September is going to be very prominent, very success oriented months for you. After that guys, now when we talk about the matters of your second house, which tells about your relationship within your family, which also tells about your conviction, your virtues, your values, your eating habits, and most importantly your financial inflow. So guys, the points which I have mentioned over here is that just because during this year, once Jupiter will transit to your 10th house, it is going to be giving its 5th aspect to your 2nd house. Now understand this thing, in your 2nd house Ketu is already transiting over there, and guys, whenever we talk about any of those talents which are lying dormant in your personality, now here we are not only talking about talents of this lifetime, mysteries and puzzles of this lifetime. Here we are talking about some sort of answers which are kind of encrypted with your soul from the past so many lifetimes, and it's the planet Ketu only which has got this potential to unravel it. And whenever Jupiter is aspecting Ketu, these kind of mysterious epiphany kind of experiences can happen. So the points which I have mentioned pertaining to the matters of your 2nd house is that Jupiter's 5th aspect will activate Ketu in your 2nd house, facilitating many entrepreneurs striving for big sum of money, trying hard to become a brand name. Now guys, a lot many times people have this misinterpretation whenever it comes down to decoding the true nature of the nodes. People are in this mindset that it's Rahu only which is capable enough of giving you material success. But when we talk about people who are dominated by Ketu, these are among those people who always eye for perfectionism, who end up becoming a brand. They always have some sort of monopoly in their line of work. So this is how planets are going to be influencing your thought process pertaining to the matters of your 2nd house. Also guys, extremely blessed time for religious preachers or people connected with theology, occult or religion as a part of their profession. Now again guys, we have to see that in which all months your 2nd house lord is going to be forming some sort of conjunction and Raj Yoga with other planets. So if you will look at in the month of March, your 2nd house lord is going to get conjunct with Saturn in your 7th house, which is a very good indication. Mercury getting conjunct with its very good friend planet Saturn, which is already dignified in your 7th house. During that month, in the month of March, you can also sign up some important deals as well. Along with that, in the month of June, your second house lord is going to be getting conjunct with Jupiter in your 10th house. 10th house and 11th house. So your second house lord is going to be covering your 10th house and the 11th house, and somehow because it is going to getting conjunct with Jupiter, so again second house lord in a dignified state in the 10th house is always a good indication, like for all those people who are in public speaking or like some major investments or lucrative financial deals at your work front. This could be a very good prominent time for that. Along with that, guys, in the month of October, as you can see that your second house lord is going to be well placed in its own sign, in its own house. So yes guys, this is how your second house lord is going to be behaving next year. After that, when we talk about the matters of the third house, which tells about your initiative, all sort of resources, support, your relationship with your friends, with your neighbors, with your siblings. So the points which I have mentioned pertaining to the matters of your third house next year is that you will get a lot of chances and platform this year to showcase your talent. Now guys, let's look at some of the timelines when your third house lord is going to be forming some sort of Raj Yogas through conjunction with other planets. So guys, in the month of March, as you can see that your third house lord is going to be getting conjunct with Saturn in the 7th house, which will be a very good time for forming some very profitable alliances. In the month of April, your third house lord is going to get exalted and it is going to get conjunct with Rahu in the 8th house. So somehow the charm and magnetism in your personality is going to be very strong. And let's say for example, if in your line of work, stirring up controversy to be in the limelight is an integral part of your line of work. Research, exploration is an integral part of your line of work. So I would say that the month of April is going to be very prominent for you. And lastly guys, in the month of June, your third house lord Venus is going to get conjunct with Jupiter in your 10th house. Again, for any public performances and all of that, the month of June is going to be very supportive for you. Now guys, when we enter your 4th house, which tells about the security, stability in your life, your emotional state, it also tells about the concerns of property, real estate, and some sort of royal favors and all. So pertaining to the matters of your 4th house, you will definitely gain in that area, because if you have given attention to the introduction part of this video where I have mentioned this thing, that whenever in the transit both Jupiter and Saturn jointly influences any house, chances to attain success or accomplishing big things in the matters of that house tend to remain very easy. So guys, the points which I have mentioned for your 4th house is that dual aspect of Jupiter and Saturn to your 4th house makes the attributes of 4th house easily accessible to you in 2024 and certain timelines. In the month of March, your 4th house lord is going to be exalted in your 6th house. Again guys, Mars in any case is your Yokaraka planet, and Mars getting exalted in the 6th house. Let's say for example, if you have to write any competitive exam, you are in the fields of like service industry, law related concerns, health related industry, if you professionally operate over there, I would say that the month of like March can actually mark some important events in your life. Along with that, and like the way guys, you know this thing that let's say for example, you want to buy any property, and for that you want any of the concerns of loan or credit to be approved. So in the month of March, if you will file your loan application, chances of that getting approved tend to remain very strong. After that guys, in the month of April, as you can see that your 4th house lord is going to be getting conjunct with Saturn in your 7th house. So again guys, 4th house lord getting conjunct with Saturn, which is already well placed in the 7th house, is a very good time for people who are in public service, connected with politics and all of that. Along with that, in the month of May, your fourth house lord is going to get conjunct with Rahu in the eighth house. So that is going to be a time when you have to remain very protective pertaining to your secrets or any of the concerns of your domestic life. This is 1 month where your inner emotional state might go through upheaval. Some sort of chaos in the domestic life can also be foreseen in the month of May for the Leo rising natives. And also guys, at the end, in the month of July and August, your fourth house lord is going to be conjunct with Jupiter in your 10th house. So fourth house lord getting conjunct with another auspicious planet for your lagna. So I would say that, like the way we say this thing, that whenever the trine houses makes any combination, generally that is considered as a good time where omen supports you. And because this conjunction is going to be taking place in your 10th house, so in your professional arena, luck, circumstances, omen will definitely support you. After that guys, when we talk about pertaining to the matters of your fifth house, which tells about your intellect, progeny, artistic creative endeavors and all. So guys, as you can see over here that during this year, post May 2024, it's a very good time for students to land at scholarship, job placement, and specifically artists will be able to get the right price buyer or producers for their art. Very focused approach will govern the thought process of many in 2024. So guys, as you can see over here that in your fifth house you will find the energy of the planet Jupiter. And after May 2024, once your fifth house lord is going to get accentuated, well placed in your 10th house, so all of the matters of your fifth house, you will get the right set of launch pad for that in order to prove yourself. That is the only reason I mentioned this thing, that from May 2024, like fifth house, which tells about your education. If you are a student, you have to write any competitive exam during this year, around this period and this time only, you have to look for a job, like on campus job placement. You have just finished your study, now you're out there in the job market, you're applying for any internship and all of that. That is the only reason that from May 2024 onwards, definitely it's going to be a very good time for people or students to land at scholarship, job placement, artists to get the right price for their work, and for like even if you have to launch or release any work from May 2024 onwards, things will strongly and very precisely work out in your favor. And guys, why I have mentioned this thing, that you will definitely have a very focused approach which will govern your thought process. So that's very simple. Fifth house tells about the way our mind function, the kind of thought which comes to your mind. And fifth house lord being in the 10th house in itself means that your mind will be somehow focused towards your goals and all. After that guys, when we talk about the matters of the sixth house, which tells about your daily work life, which tells about the concerns of your health, your competitive spirit and all. So the points which I have written over here is that Jupiter's ninth aspect, which will influence your sixth house, because from May 2024, once Jupiter will enter your 10th house, it will give its ninth aspect to your sixth house. So Jupiter's ninth aspect and your sixth house lord, planet Saturn, being very well placed in the 7th house in its Mool Trikona sign, so forming a Shash Yoga. So it will definitely guard you against enemies, health concerns, and will reinforce chances of success in any competitive situation. So guys, I'm not seeing you guys vulnerable in the matters of 6th house throughout the next year. Now guys, when we talk about the matters of the 7th house, which tells about your public image, matrimonial alliances, and anything to do with your commercial interest. So now you know this thing, that Saturn is going to be very well placed throughout the year in your 7th house, forming a Shash Yoga. So I would say that when it comes down to finding a right person or getting into a lifelong commitment, matrimonial alliances, next year still seems to be very much favorable for you. But guys, moreover, just because the way planets are influencing you next year, because your angular houses being in such a strengthened state, so I would say that more from the matrimonial alliances and relationship point of view, I would say that for your enhanced public image, being more duty driven and being more focused towards the commercial gain is going to be the highlight or theme for lot many Leo Lagna natives. That is the only reason, guys, I have mentioned this thing and summarized over here that Saturn in the seventh house gets exceptionally strong in any form of public service, political roles, or business interest. So, if I were to give it any rating, so I would say that for the matrimonial alliances point of view, I would say that the energy is still very mediocre. Only if your natal chart is strong, running dashas are favorable, that can materialize. But definitely when it comes down to your material interest, concerns of public image, and the way you exert your authority, and regarding that front, next year is definitely going to be supporting you pertaining to the matters of your seventh house. Now, guys, coming to a house which we all are very scared of, 8th house, because whenever it comes down to a house which can suddenly create a break in our smooth flow of life and all sort of unpleasing, unpredictable problems, generally creeps out of the 8th house. So guys, in your case, just because your 5th house, 8th house lord becomes the planet Jupiter, it is going to be in a strengthened state in your 10th house. So that in itself means that I'm not seeing you guys much vulnerable pertaining to any of the uncertainties bothering you next year. So the points which I have highlighted pertaining to the matters of your 8th house is that Rahu in the 8th house becomes extremely researchful and manipulative for its own good. And with its dispositor Jupiter transiting in your 10th house from May 2024, a lot of Leo natives will be willing to go to any extent for furthering their interest. Success for researchers and people engaged in occult. So again, guys, there is this advantage which you will be having is that because Rahu and Ketu works strongly on the dispositor theory. So no matter in which way Rahu is acting out right now in your life, but when the dispositor of Rahu will transit to your 10th house, like Jupiter will transit to your 10th house, definitely Rahu will also start acting out in a very goal oriented way. That is the only reason, guys, I have mentioned this thing that Rahu, which is considered as a chief manipulator, but all this manipulation will work in your favor only. You will definitely be very opportunistic next year in order to grab any opportunity. So yes, guys, that is how I can see the matters of your 8th house. After that, when we talk about the 9th house, which tells about your how much luck is going to be supporting you, how is going to be your experience in any long distance travel during next year. So the points which I have mentioned pertaining to the matters of your 9th house is that both of the Martian signs for you guys are being aspected by Saturn throughout the next year, and the energy of the year 2024 is also of universal year 8 if you will make a sum total of 2024. So Leo rising natives will be led by their own past learnings and lessons and will also be guided by the right set of experts and mentors during this year. And again, guys, we cannot overlook this fact that we have to see that how your 9th house lord throughout the year is going to be transiting, in whichsoever months is it going to be forming some sort of Raj Yogas through conjunction as well. So I have mentioned over here that in the month of March, Mars, which becomes your 9th house lord, is going to be getting exalted in your 6th house. So a very good kind of yoga in the month of March, so called the Dharm Karmpati yoga, that if in your line of work giving service or solving other people's problem, you are working in the health industry, so the month of March could be very prominent for you, can actually mark some important attainment of position, power, suddenly authority is coming to you, being considered for a new role, can all materialized in the month of March. In the month of April, guys, your 9th house lord is going to get conjunct with Saturn in your 7th house. That again is a very good indication. A lot many times I have seen that whenever like 9th house lord is influencing through transit, through dasha, through conjunction the 7th house, somehow right set of people in a very surprising way enters our life and they serve some important purpose in our life. So the month of April will also be important for you. In the month of May, Mars is going to get conjunct with Rahu in your 8th house. So definitely in the month of May, you have to be very careful the kind of advices which are coming to you, and are you acting out with lot of headstrongness, not paying attention to the consequences or repercussion of your actions and all. So only in the month of May, I'm seeing you guys vulnerable of being misled, but apart from that, in rest of the time, I'm not seeing that much vulnerability. And also guys, in the months of July and August, your 9th house lord Mars is going to be getting conjunct with Jupiter in your 10th house. So definitely both the trine houses making a conjunction in the 10th house will definitely be a very good indication, because around the time of August only, your ascendant lord is also going to be strengthened. So I would say that in the months of July and August, if you want any leap of faith, any support, and you have to release, launch, or take any important steps in your professional life, omens and planetary vibrations will definitely support you. After that guys, 10th house, which tells about your public image, which tells about your professional endeavors, which tells about your relationship with the authority figures. So the points which I have written over here is that from May 2024, things at work will be very progressive, smooth and favorable, because the most auspicious planet Jupiter would have then transited to your 10th house. You will have the provision to inspire, uplift others, or in other words, touch many lives with your work. And definitely guys, let's say for example, if in your line of work, like all the Jupiter attributes are getting applicable, like giving advice to people, finances, training, teaching is getting applicable, like publishing, authorship is getting applicable, then definitely you are heading for some very good year, like some very good time of accomplishment, achievement next year. After that guys, pertaining to the matters of your 11th house, so definitely 11th house, which tells about your gains, wish fulfillment, the kind of group you socialize, you network with. So the points which I have written over here is that 2024 will put you in the center stage or limelight with many opportunities to collaborate or associate with like-minded people, or people who could play a significant role in your success. So guys, definitely, because now I have to see that how your 11th house lord in the transit throughout the year, is it forming some sort of Raj Yoga through conjunction with other planets. So guys, in the months, like in the month of March, when your 11th house lord is going to be getting conjunct with Saturn in your 7th house, it's a good combination. 11th house lord making a combination in the 7th house. Your friends might introduce you to someone for any of the commercial interest or matrimonial dating concerns as well. In the month of June, your 11th house lord and the 2nd house lord is going to be getting conjunct with Jupiter in your 10th house and the 11th house, which is again a very good combination for like in your line of work. You will definitely experience some very fast paced progress, because Mercury is a very quick planet which give very quick results. And definitely guys, in the month of October, as you can see that Mercury is going to be getting exalted in your 2nd house, and it will also transit to your 3rd house as well. So again guys, 11th house lord and 2nd house lord being exalted in the 2nd house. So if in your line of work, communication, financial management, or some important decision making is getting involved in the months of like October and all, so definitely you will be able to close some important deals, take some important decision. With your communication skills, you will be able to impress a large group of people and a very big audience as well. So overall guys, this is how your 11th house is going to be behaving next year. And lastly guys, when we talk about the matters of your 12th house, which in your case becomes very important, because 12th house has got a lot of insecurities, and as you can see over here that in the 12th house you have got a energy of moon in the form of the Cancer sign over there. That is the only reason guys, for the Leo Lagna natives, only if you have a very well placed moon in your chart and nothing would be better than that. If your moon is conjunct with like Ketu, or it is conjunct with Jupiter, so lot many times Leo Lagna natives are able to see through any of the hidden threat or any of the energy of enmity. So I would say guys that the way I have studied the overall planetary influence next year for your Lagna, so I'm not seeing any vulnerability. So the point which I have mentioned over here is that no vulnerability or threat on the account of hidden forces next year for the Leo Lagna natives. So yes guys, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs as a yearly horoscope theme for your Lagna. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page.